Hi, my name is Gerardo Zagara, and today I'm going to be going over the head voice. The head voice is the highest part of our natural range. Unlike the chest voice, it's light, and unlike falsetto, it has depth. So before I get into that further, I will first describe the three vocal mechanisms. The first one, generator or airflow. In head voice, the airflow will be going up the throat and behind the nose and into the nasal cavity. So we should not be feeling anything here, anything in the chest, but it should be going in behind the nasal cavity. We should not be forcing this air out. It should be very light and relaxed because we don't want to create cord tension, which brings me to the next point, um, which would be cord function. In head voice, unlike chest voice where the cords are vibrating along their entire length, in head voice the cords are zipped up 2/3 along their way. So that leaves 1/3 to vibrate fully. And that 1/3 is where that 1/3 of the open space of where our cords are not zipping up is where our head voice comes from. Unlike, as I said, unlike the chest voice where the cords are vibrating along their entire length and they're loose, the head voice creates um, it zips up on 2/3 along the way, and it makes it tight and thin, so that we leave a little bit of space for the air to flow out and vibrate. And the next vocal function is resonance. Unlike the chest voice, where you feel the resonance predominantly in the chest, where you feel your sternum vibrate, the head voice creates resonance in this area, in the facial area, predominantly in the head, on top, or behind the head. Depending on what pitch you are, depending how far or how pure you are singing in head voice, you may feel it behind the eyes, on your cheeks, or in the nasal cavity. So, going further, there are some exercises. Before I get to that, let me explain a little bit more of what you should feel when you are in head voice. It should feel light. You should not feel any tension. Unlike the chest voice, it's light and it loses all the weight, all the deepness of the chest voice. There should be no pressure, and there is less air than you think. We don't want to push out the air because since our cords are closed 2/3 along their way, if we're pushing more and more and more, we can create tension and our voice can break and we can accidentally flip into falsetto, and we don't want that to happen. So it's less air than you think. And when we sing in chest voice, our soft palate should be lifted up and the throat should feel relaxed and narrowly focused. We should be pushing the voice out lightly, relaxed, but with depth. Unlike a falsetto where it's just weak and airy, our head voice should have depth because our soft palate is up, our chords are a little bit tight, and we're singing with air, but very controlled, consistent airflow. And the resonance, as I said, one way to just primarily feel if you're singing the head voice is through the resonance. You should not be feeling anything here. Your shoulders should not be tight. We're not accessing this area. We should be feeling everything in the head area, behind the head, on the nose, behind the eyes, in the cheeks, or as I said, in the nasal cavity. So there are some exercises that we can use to get to the head voice, and the first one is going to be gi and gu. Now, the consonant in that, which is the G, helps create chord closure. It helps to compress the chords so that the chords could begin their function. If our chords are wide open, we'll be singing chest voice. But if our chords are closed, we'll flip into head voice. And to help those chords close, we need a consonant. And in this case, it's going to be G. The G helps the chords to close, while the U in that helps to release that tension, to release that compression, and let that head voice go out. And we have to be careful not to flip into falsetto because if we're pushing too much air out and we're just being very intense and having a lot of pressure in that, we can break the chords up and cause them to break open and flip into head voice. Flip into falsetto. So let's try this right now. So as you saw, the G created that access to go into the head voice. The next exercise is going to be the water droplet sound, which is the whoop sound. It's BWOOP. And this exercise helps to connect the head voice. This exercise helps to be relaxed and very eliminating all use of the throat, and that's what we want to concentrate on. We don't want to use any head. We don't want to use any throat. We don't want to have any tension. We want to be very light and uncompressed. So I'm going to demonstrate that sound right now. Whoop, 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 whoop. That sound should not be very forced. It should be just very light. It should be very calm. And you should not feeling any tension here, but in the head voice. I'm sorry, in the head area. So there you go. That's the head voice and the 3 vocal mechanisms. And I gave you 2 exercises that you could use to help reach into the head voice. Thank you.